Live from Orlando, Florida, you're now listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Orlando Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
What's up, Magic fans, and welcome back to another episode of the OZone Podcast, brought to you by DraftKings and part of the Basketball Podcast Network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony. Today is Thursday, December 30th. Getting really close to that brand new year of 2022. In today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how COVID took over the NBA, really impacting the Orlando Magic. Franz Wagner climbing to that number one rookie ladder spot. And then a little bit about a new clip that just kind of floated around the internet of Jonathan Isaac and whether or not we should panic. What's up, Al?
What's going on, man?
Al, the last episode that we had, first and foremost, I just want to apologize to everyone. We've missed, the last 2 weeks. We had the holidays, and then Al and I both had to go into our own health and safety protocols. Kind of got hit with what we can and cannot confirm is COVID. We have no idea what it is because I wasn't able to get tested. You weren't able to get tested. We're both vaccinated. And how everything is, man, it's COVID's kind of taking over the world again. Can you believe we're getting right back into all the drama and all the mess?
So the biggest thing is, I felt like when we got vaccinated, things were getting better. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get vaccinated just to be safe and just to, put that behind me. And here we are, man, back in it again. But surprisingly enough, though, I just feel like we can't shake it. I don't know what's going on. Now the NBA is getting killed with it too. So I don't know. Thankfully, we're good though. We had some symptoms, but thankfully we're both doing okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about the COVID and how it impacted the Magic in just a few moments. But in the last episode, if you remember, we talked about how you were fortunate enough to be part of a focus group. Al, how was that focus group? What were some of the questions that were asked and what'd you get from it?
Yeah, man. So it was a fun experience getting to go into that room and with other Magic personalities or people that follow the Magic as much as we do. And it included season ticket holders. It included actually Jonathan from the Six Man Show was there as well. And some other Twitter personalities, social media personalities that follow the Magic. And it was fun, man. I mean, they got to really ask us mostly about the City Edition jerseys. How do we feel about them? Do we like them? Are we as fans of the team buying them? But then he also got into the logo of the team. Recently, we had that survey that was sent out to all Magic fans about the logos of the team. What do we think? What's our favorite? I call it the Shaq days, T-Mac days, or the current version. So we gave our feedback on that. Personally, I made a big deal about the orange. I think we've heard enough, how we've had enough of it. We want to transition back to the blue. Another big thing that we talked about was how corporate the team has become. I mean, what made us really a fun team was, the creativity behind the logos and the jerseys that we had back in the days. Why not go back to that? Why not give us as fans what we've been wanting all these years? So it was fun. I mean, it really was a fun experience. They truly seemed like they cared about our feedback, and they're doing multiple sessions. So I think they're doing 4 in the month of December. So we'll see around June, July, if our feedback really counts. One feedback that someone in the room gave was, can we be invited back and shown these logos before they go, to production? Can we get our feedback into what's coming out for next season or for the next rebrand, whatever it may be? So we'll see if they do that. That'll be really fun. But I'll ask you, I know you were not fortunate enough to go, but I'll ask you, do you like the City Edition jerseys? Do you like what Nike has done with that? And what would you change if you had the chance?
I like how you added that little dagger at the end. You weren't fortunate enough to go yourself. I went, but you didn't.
But I want your feedback.
Yeah, so for those that weren't fortunate enough to go like myself, it's okay because I wasn't cool enough to get invited. I didn't get sent to a nice little suite with food and drinks before the game. Yeah, man, I think the city editions was a really good experiment from Nike. I'm over it. I don't I'm it's great that they were able to experiment, but I'm an old school guy, man. Just give me my pinstripes. Give me my damn pinstripes and I'll be happy. But it's good to see that they're asking these questions, and hopefully from what you gathered and the information that you provided, you were as open and honest. Did you update them with did you add what we discussed, a little plan that we had, and when you're going to tell them about that? Jerseys are nice, but can we get updates on injuries? Did you add that like we discussed? I'm pretty
Unfortunately,
sure
we
we
didn't.
pre-planned about that.
I didn't get to that point, but we did make plenty of jokes around, all the injuries that we've gone through the last few years. So it wasn't quite what we practiced, but we did throw it out there that we can we impact that some way somehow.
To our listeners, I did my best to prepare Al. Al, from what it sounds like, Al, you did not follow through.
I didn't follow the
Disappointed,
script.
Al. All right, man. So since our last episode, we had what, about maybe 6 games. We had 2 wins against Brooklyn and Atlanta, man. This last 6 games have been rough, man, because we really haven't had a full roster. COVID has really impacted the whole entire NBA. The G League right now, they're having an opportunity of a lifetime because they're getting calls up left and right. And a lot of our players have been impacted. We really haven't seen Terrence Ross in a little while, and it's not just COVID with us; it's injuries also. So we
Yep.
really haven't had a full healthy team in quite some time. How has it been for you? You're a big fan of BJ Johnson, so it's really nice to see him back. But what are your thoughts on what we've seen from the G League players? And then also I saw a report that said that some NBA executives are not happy that the commissioner decided not to pause the season, that he's really kind of stringing this out. Do you think that maybe that should be something that they consider?
I don't think so, man. I think the NBA has got to find a way to continue. I mean, what they're doing now, it does seem a little bit crazy when you think about it. Most teams, like the Magic, are filled with G Leaguers and 10-day contracts. At the same time, it's kind of fun. I mean, you mentioned those wins against Brooklyn and Atlanta. Those wins were literally won by G Leaguers and those 10-day contracts. Those guys were playing super hard. They came out and they surprised those teams. They were not expecting them to play so well, and that helped us win those games. So it's kind of fun in that way. But as a fan of the team, it kind of sucks. I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I haven't been to a game this past week and a half. Like, I've been selling my tickets because, not for nothing, I'm not going to go to Amway and see the Lakeland guys and drive and pay for the parking and all that stuff. So it takes away from what we want to see from the Cole Anthonys and the Mo Bambas. Like, we want to see those guys play. So it's different. I'm still watching the games. I'm still entertained by them, but it's different. Again, you're not really seeing what you want to see, except Franz, which we'll talk about plenty in this episode. But it's fun to see the guys again, like BJ Johnson. Unfortunately, he also entered the health and safety protocols here in the last couple of days. Hassani was balling and playing so well. He's now entered health and safety protocols. So it's unfortunate that we cannot see these guys kind of get a rhythm for what the Magic are doing and show us what they can do at the NBA level. But it's been fun to see. I'm ready to turn the page and get my healthy players back and see the real Magic get out there on the court.
Did you find it weird that Hassani was putting that into the health and safety protocols in the middle of the game?
That was really strange.
That was strange, right?
If you ask me, let him finish the game at that point. Like, hey, might as well. I mean, you already high-fived your teammates and spent shoot around and all these things with your teammates. So I don't know. It was weird.
It's super weird. I thought it was really off, and the way that they announced it is like kind of announced it silently to where it wasn't a big deal. Now with that in mind, I mean, I understand I wouldn't want the league to postpone the season or pause the season. Like, we're tanking. Not tanking, but we're tanking. Like, I'm ready to get this season done and over with, man. Like, I'm trying to get to where we need to be. At the same time, it would be nice though if they did, like, the contrary on that, or the pro on that would be, it would give us a little more time with Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz. Maybe they come back sooner in regards to the entry of the games and whatnot. But at the same time, man, just keep it going. I like the fact that Adam Silver is making sure that train ain't stopping, because last season was rough, man, and you don't want it to impact the season come the upcoming season and the scheduling being all off again. That was brutal. They already ruled out the fact that there wasn't going to be another NBA bubble. That's not going to happen. I think that it's the right call, man. Don't postpone the season. Get by, and all the NBA teams, they're doing whatever they can to make sure that they have enough healthy bodies on the floor, as hard as that may be.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I would hate to see like the lottery get pushed till June and the draft get pushed to September. Like, again, we suffer enough. Just give me the draft, give me the lottery. I want to see where we are next year already. And more than that, like I said, then everything just gets delayed. And I wouldn't want that to happen. Like, get through it some way, somehow. It does suck, I will say, for those teams that are competing for playoff seeds
It does.
because it's hard. Like, imagine the Magic
100%.
were playing really well and they're the sixth
I
seed or something.
I would be upset.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
so to that extent, I do agree with some of those GMs that are not happy. Like, hey, like it's costing us perhaps a playoff seed this year. So I can understand that.
I get it. And if that were my team, I would be upset, but it's not, so I don't feel bad at all.
There you go.
Now, with this comes with experimentation. How did you like seeing Franz Wagner play the point guard position?
Man, if there's one guy that's benefited from all this, it's Franz Wagner. Like, this kid has gotten to be a point guard. He's gotten to play 38 minutes a night. He's played the center position a couple times. Like, he's doing it all out there, and it's shown. I mean, you mentioned it already, but he's number one now in the rookie ladder. I think that goes to speak to what he has been able to do during this last 2 weeks. Not only scoring points, but creating for others, running the pick and roll really, really well. I'm lost for words, man. I don't even know how to describe this kid anymore. He's doing so many amazing things on the court. And this is a kid that a few months ago looked completely lost on the court. Like, he couldn't figure it out. He couldn't shoot. He didn't know where to dribble. All of a sudden, he is running this team. And again, I keep saying this, through all this losing, all this tough challenge we're going through, all the injuries, there's only one bright spot right now. It's a few, but one really that shines brighter. That's Franz Wagner. I mean, it's unreal what he's been able to do.
Yeah, like, how is this the same guy, bro? How is this the same? Everybody was concerned in summer league. We've said this numerous times on the podcast, but there's no way that anyone could have ever expected what we're seeing. It was awesome. He had a career night, dropped 38 points. He should have really hit that 40, bro.
Yep.
Like that shot, the last shot that he took, because he was really going for it. That last shot from the arc looked good. I thought he was gonna hit it. If he would have hit it, it looked like, it would have been well deserved. But the fact that he had a career night, had the Wolverines in there watching him, had Coach Howard out there watching him. I thought all around, man, the dude is easily the best thing that could have happened to this franchise. If you take a look at how he's scoring the basketball, it's literally in so many different ways. It's not just he doesn't have like his just a go-to move that he does over and over again. He's penetrating, he's running the fast break, he's getting other teammates involved, he's throwing alleys, he's shooting jump shots from the corner three, he's doing pump fakes, he's doing Euro steps. Like, this dude is literally like he is everything you want in a basketball player. And the fact that he is as big as he is, as versatile as he is, it really makes you think, like, damn, how is this his rookie season? Like, how much better could this guy really get? Like, the part that kind of scares me is that he's making people really invest in him. I'm invested in him. You're invested in him. We tried to buy a Franz Wagner jersey and we couldn't. We're upset about it, but we're still going to wait to buy it. People are invested. But what if it's just a one season thing?
I mean, I don't think so, man. Because like you mentioned already, his repertoire offensively is ridiculous. Like you mentioned, floaters. He attacks the rim really, really well for his height and the position that he plays. Finishes strong. He can dunk on people. He can shoot the three. Decent mid-range shot. So what he's showing me is that he can get it done multiple ways. And he can get it done whether he is the primary ball handler or if he is just simply in the corners waiting for the open shot. So that's what's really amazing to me, that as a rookie, this kid is doing it in so many different ways. I mean, it just crossed my mind, but we wanted Jalen Green so bad. What was it about Jalen Green that we liked so much? Athleticism. He dunks on people. He can shoot the three. He can create off the dribble. Well, guess what, man? This kid is doing it at 6'10", still growing. He could be 6'11" pretty soon. He's a great defender, which Jalen Green is not. He's proven to be, I'm going to knock on every single wood I can find in this room, proven to be healthy, which Jalen Green has proven not to be so far. He's already missed about a month to a month and a half of his rookie season. So when you add up all those things, man, like, I cannot see this kid not being successful. And mind you, he's playing with G Leaguers right now. He's playing with guys that, look at what the Milwaukee Bucks were doing. They were double teaming this guy. With Giannis on him, they were still double teaming him. So what about when Markelle comes back, when J.I. comes back, when Cole Anthony is having one of those nights that he's scoring 30 points? You can't double team him. So what can he do in those situations? And that's what I can't wait to see as a fan is a healthy Magic team to see all these guys really play the way they should. Because right now, Cole Anthony has stretches where he was really overly utilized, like taking 30 shots, 28 shots because he needed to. What would they look like when they actually have guys that need to be paid attention to on the court? That's going to be really fun to see. And I think that's going to make Franz a better player, if anything. So I don't know. I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, I feel like the small three position has been one of our biggest holes for a while. We experimented a lot with, either Aaron Gordon playing the three, the small time period that we had Jonathan Isaac back at the three. And for the first time in a really long time, Franz Wagner is that perfect fit. And just thinking of what this lineup is going to look like once we get these healthy players back. Cole Anthony, Markelle, Franz, Jonathan Isaac, Wendell together on the court for the first time. It's going to really open a lot of eyes across the league, and it's going to really change the perspective on the Orlando Magic. And with that said, man, he's an all-around guy, and he does things the right way. He has a really high basketball IQ, and you're right, he does it on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. He played 38 minutes in that Bucks game. He dropped 38 points. He's making every moment matter. And he's not doing this selfishly, but it gets to a point that you're watching and you're in your mind, you're just like, give him the ball, because he makes magic happen. No pun intended. He gets people involved. People are worried about him. He's a big dude. He's posting people up. He's driving. He's quick with the basketball. I'm so hyped that we have this man on our team, because one, that was not the reaction anyone had on draft night
At all.
and he is making everyone extremely apologetic for it, and I'm all here for it.
And one thing we haven't seen enough is his cutting abilities, which was what really made him highlight coming out of college. Like, this kid can cut like one of the best guys doing it, which gets him easy points. Imagine now when you have to guard him at the three-point line, we have to be aware of his driving abilities. But hey, guess what? Now Markelle's dribbling the ball up the court. You got to pay attention to him also. And Cole in the corner. This kid's going to be cutting day and night and getting easy points. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he may not have the ball in his hands as much when these guys come back and they're healthy, but he'll be able to get so many easy baskets just because of you can't guard him just one particular way.
But that's the thing, man. When we were scouting him beforehand, he was always known as a player that didn't need the ball in his hands to be effective on the court. Mm-hmm. And what we're getting is a guy that's extremely effective with the ball in his hands on the court. That's what we're getting. And he's creative. Like, he's driving to the basket, going right, but he's finishing with his left. He's also hitting 10 for 10 free throws on the line to get to his 38 points. Like, it's really, how do you want it? How do you want this man to score on you? Pick and choose, and he's able to do it. And he's a damn rookie, man. And I'm happy to see that the NBA respect, they realize, understand, sees, acknowledge that this man is the number one on the rookie ladder. And I honestly can't see that falling anywhere past 3. Like, that's it. It's solidified at that top 3 spot. For sure. He deserves, in my opinion, Rookie of the Year. I'm biased, but he definitely deserves it.
And one thing too is, as the team gets healthier, I expect the Magic to win more games. And that's also going to get him a little more respect, because
Absolutely.
Right now, Cade has been number 1 a couple times, but they're losing a ton of games. Cavaliers have been amazing, and that's helped Mobley a lot get into that top seed, but they keep getting injuries a lot. So I don't know how long they'll last with this amazing record. Toronto is kind of here and there. So if the Magic can win some games when this team gets healthy, that's only going to help his cause even more. So I'm excited, man. I mean, I don't know if he's going to end up pulling it off and winning Rookie of the Year, but the simple fact that this kid is being compared to Cade Cunningham and, Evan Mobley, who were guys that were top 3 for sure in this draft. And here's Franz Wagner out of nowhere. And mind you, the best part of all this, Jalen Suggs struggled big time this season so far. If this kid can bounce back the way that Cole Anthony did last year, or he's doing this year, and prove to be the player that he's supposed to be, oh my God, that's a whole nother dimension to this team. So there's so many things to be positive about and to look forward to. Unfortunately, though, it's a lot of losing, a lot of injuries that we're dealing with right now, but it's only going to get better.
Yep, and just to put it in perspective, right now he leads rookies first in points, first in field goals, third in three-point shots, second in free throws, sixth in rebounds, fourth in assists, second in steals, fifth in blocks, and then first in minutes.
Only France.
Only Franz. Only Franz. Definitely, it's. I mean, it should be unanimous, man. This dude's gonna end up winning Rookie of the Month, hands down. But we really want that hardware. Give us that Rookie of the Year. We haven't won an award in a really long time. We deserve it just as bad as Franz deserves it, or just as much as Franz deserves it, for sure. Now, the Orlando Magic, we haven't had the best of luck with injuries, and we had recently definitely a scare where we had Wendell Carter kind of fall on the ground, and there was a lot of concerns because when he fell to the floor, he got wheelchaired off. So let me hear from you first. What were your initial thoughts when it happened, and then what were your afterthoughts knowing that it wasn't that bad?
So this is the last game I went to at Amway, and I saw it happen right in front of me. And unfortunately, it brought back memories all of a sudden to Markelle, to JI, the way he landed, the way he was looking at his leg, the way he was taken off the court. It seemed like it was the worst possible thing that would have happened to this guy. And again, you just think the worst. As a Magic fan, when have we had an injury that looked bad and turned out to be good in the last few years? It hasn't. But thankfully, as you mentioned, some way, somehow, the basketball gods finally did us a favor. And he only missed 2 games, man. It's ridiculous to think the way that it looked, he only missed 2 games. So definitely we got lucky on that one. It just seems to be a really bad knee-to-knee hit when it happened. But then again, the way they reacted just looked so much worse. So I'm glad because, again, these young guys need all the playing time they can get, all the development on the court they can get this season when games really don't matter that much anymore. And it would have really sucked to have him out for, let's say, 10, 20, 50 games and not get that development. So honestly, we got lucky in that one, and I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, Wendell's such a big part of this team now and in the future. He's averaging 12.8 points a game, 10 rebounds. I want to see our team fully healthy to see what we have. Wendell and Jonathan Isaac haven't shared a court together in a real game. Cole Anthony has Cole Anthony and Jonathan Isaac played together in a game? I can't remember. No, right? No. So what do we have? We have no idea. And the fact that, when that happened and we saw the wheelchair, we're like, man, is this seriously happening? Like, we cannot catch a break to save our life. He already had the issues where he got hit in the eye and he's wearing goggles. Now we have this knee injury. Like, we can't, what's going on? And mind you, this is a player that is prone to injuries.
Yep.
The majority of his time in Chicago was him with injuries. So Chicago really gave up on him early, and we're getting another player on our roster that has issues with injuries. So you automatically think the worst.
And don't forget, we just gave him an extension too. So it kind of brought back memories to J.I. and Markelle, who we paid, deservedly so, but then they ended up getting hurt right after.
Correct.
So that came to my mind too. Like, man, we just paid this guy, and here we go again. So again, we definitely caught a break, and man, we were due for one. That's for sure.
Yeah, so really fortunate. And honestly, I thought the way that our front office operates, that he was going to be out for a little while. And the fact that he missed minimal games, he's already back in action, is really good to see. That it wasn't anything majorly serious. Now, we also got to see Markelle finally warm up at the Amway before the game, which we haven't got to see yet. What are your thoughts on that? Does this mean anything? Are we expecting for him to come back sooner than later? What are your thoughts?
Oh, man, he's close. He definitely is. I know he practiced with a team out in LA a few weeks ago. People got excited thinking, oh, he'll play in that road trip. I didn't see that as a real thing, knowing the Magic. He's been practicing with the G League. We know that, with Lakeland. But this just means he's that much closer. We're now able to see him warm up. He see his upgraded or his new jump shot after a whole year of not seeing it. If you ask me, I think we see him in early January. I think that's when he comes back. I keep saying this. The game that I have circled as my ideal date for him to come back is Wednesday the 5th against Philadelphia. Like, it's just perfect. So we'll see. That will also mark, I think, exactly a year that he's been out with this injury, which I think is enough time to see him back on the court. So again, he's in practice. He's warming up with the team. I cannot see Markelle being out more than a couple of weeks, if that.
Hopefully not. Didn't you say that he's gonna be back before Christmas? Didn't you say before the end of the year? I think
I
you
think I
did.
said before the end of the
I think
year,
you
but
did.
I definitely said before JI. That for sure. I remember saying.
That's still up for debate. And looking at Chuma Okeke, he seems to be coming back to form. Since December 17th, he's been averaging 12.8 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 3.8 steals. So he's playing really, really well. He's also shooting at least 30% from the three-point line, which is a really big upgrade. What are your thoughts on being able to see, some of that old Okeke back?
Man, I'll take the. I'll actually throw myself out there and say I was completely wrong. On the last episode, I went really hard at Chuma. I really, really went hard at him. People in the comments were taking notice of that, but he bounced back, man. He bounced back. But I think the biggest thing that changed was the ball was in his hands a lot more, and he was back in the starting lineup, which I don't know what that means. I don't know if he just doesn't like the bench role, if the guys he's playing with on the bench don't know his game just yet. But man, he looked much better, especially in the defensive end. He was a lot more aggressive, as you mentioned, averaging, what did you just add? 3.8 assists. I'm sorry, 3.8 steals. That's just, again, it just shows his
Huge.
aggressiveness on the defensive end, and then scoring the ball. Not only scoring, but hitting some big shots. In that win against Brooklyn, that win against Atlanta, he hit some big threes down the stretch. So again, great to see, but unfortunately, he went into the COVID protocols, and we haven't seen him here the last few days. So he should be out a couple of, maybe a week or so more. But it's unfortunate because he was just getting it going.
Yeah, and then also Gary Harris, he's been playing really well as well. December, he's averaging 15.3 points per game and shooting 43% from the three-point line. What has changed for Gary? We've been pretty hard on him also. It seems like, he's really hit a tough patch. The whole entire season, and now we're kind of needing him to turn it around, but to actually see him doing it is definitely a good refresh for us, refresh for him. Because this is a player that played really, really well for Denver, and we were expecting for him to kind of transition that leadership over to us, and we haven't seen him. But the month of December, we're starting to get flashes of that back.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for him is he's finally healthy. I know we were rough on him, and basically, again, we attacked him pretty hard because he honestly was not good. Let's be honest, he wasn't playing well. But I think he's finally healthy. He's finally, again, being in the starting lineup. I think also helps him a little more prepare for the games and know what to expect of him. And he's looking a lot more like Evan Fournier out there, like that shooting guard that hits the threes, plays decent defense, and he's helping the young guys out there. We need that to last because the trade deadline, I think I checked yesterday, it's around 43, 42 days away. So we're getting closer and closer. And if this guy can play at this level through the trade deadline, one of two things. You either keep him and sign him for a cheap contract if you can, or you trade him for something decent, a first round pick, something like that, if this type of production continues. But again, he needs to keep it up in order for us to get something of value back. Because if he goes back to the old ways, that won't be the case.
Yeah, we really need his ability to create, to shoot, whether it's in the starting lineup or off the bench, because eventually, the cavalry is coming. And we got a lot of these vets that are dying to get on the court and play. And we really want to be able to showcase these players because you're right, trade deadline is coming sooner rather than later. And we want to be able to at least show the value that we have because we want to continue to grow this nucleus that we have. So thank you, Gary. It's about time, man. Welcome
Yes,
to the show.
sir.
All right. So the big thing that has happened in social media just recently is that Cole Anthony was taking a video of Mo Bamba, and the video that he posted on social media, you can see Jonathan Isaac walking behind Mo Bamba, and for maybe like it couldn't have been more than a second and a half. It wasn't a long clip, but you see Jonathan Isaac walking through, and the walk seemed a little funky.
Suspect.
Yeah, a little suspect in the sense where he looked and people were kind of describing it as he was walking like an old man, right? Like as if his knee isn't fully healed of the way that he was walking. Is this a cause of concern? Are you worried about that?
Nah, man. We also saw on that famous video of RJ Hampton and Cole Anthony bouncing that ball back and forth, the weird thing that we're doing back in training camp. You also could see J.I. walking in the back in October, and he looked fine when he was walking in the back of that
cared
video.
About that video. Nobody cared about Jonathan Isaac in that video. Nobody cared. Now we take a look at Jonathan Isaac for half a second, and everyone's going crazy.
Exactly. So, again, it could have been a million things. I jokingly said to you before we started recording, like, what if he was just being goofy and walking like that? And, I don't know, like joking around with a teammate in the background.
Yeah, it was his pimp walk.
Yeah, there you go.
Pimp walking.
Who knows? So again, I can't take nothing out of that video, unfortunately, but I get it. People need something, and I'm going to blame the front office 100% for that. Because if you would be talking to us and telling us what we want to hear, like, hey, J.I. has had a setback. He's going to be out another 4 months. Cool. We know what's happening. He can be limping on the bench, and I know why. He had a setback. But unfortunately, we don't know what the heck's going on with J.I. We have no idea. So anything we see of this guy is like, oh my God, it's gold. We have to analyze everything and see what we can figure out. So nothing to take away from it. But again, I blame the Magic for it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. You hit it right on the head. We are not getting any information from anyone. So we have to create our information based on the information that we're able to see. So I get it. It's not a cause for concern. I'm not worried about it. I feel like I walked that way. If you saw the video, if you're sitting for a long period of time, it looks like, he was sitting down, he got up and, he had to stretch his back a little bit. And that's why he was walking awkwardly. But I don't think it's a big deal. It would have been nice to see more time frame than just analyzing that 1 second and a half. But I think that it's only a matter of time. Could there be a setback? Probably. Should they tell us if there is? Absolutely. Apparently in their world is a bad word to say the word setback, so they don't say anything at all.
I mean, at this point, man,
so where we living?
You don't miss 16 months going on 17 because of an ACL injury. Just it's unheard of. So they're not going to admit it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So this upcoming week we got Milwaukee, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia. It's really hard to give predictions to these games just because, again, they're the health and safety protocols. You have so many players coming in and out. You really don't know what to expect. Thank God they stopped the whole Florida State gambling because it would have been a mess, man. I either would have lost a lot of money or won a lot of money. I'm leaning more towards losing a lot of money. But what are your thoughts on these upcoming games?
Number one thing is really tough games. All those teams, again, if healthy, are teams that are on the top of the Eastern Conference, all of them. So it won't be an easy week. What I'm hoping for is what we saw yesterday in the Milwaukee game. We saw a team that, even though we went down, I think 30 at one point, we fought back. We made it fun. We gave the fans something to cheer on. So make it fun. I don't think Franz going to go off again because I think Milwaukee will be a little more attentive to him in tomorrow's game. But I hope we see the young guys continue to develop. We've seen some good things out of RJ in the last couple of games, especially his effort in the defensive end. So I want to see that continue. He's getting a lot of minutes right now. We got to see improvement from him. And I keep saying this every week, man, just stay healthy. And hopefully we see Markelle join the team at some point this week. And he can, again, just be an added bonus to all this. But we should be getting Mo Bamba back, Terrence Ross very soon. So I think we should see the team more back to its normal roster in the upcoming week or so.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm going to be focusing on is really going to be Franz Boogie. I want to see him continue, this big hot streak that he has. Great, you dropped 38 points in front of your former team and coach. Can you do that again? I'm not expecting for him to go out there and average 40 points a game, but I definitely want him to continue being aggressive and really showcase, his abilities and show the NBA world that, there's a reason why he's number one on the NBA rookie ladder. And now that he's there, make sure that no one kicks him off. So that's going to be my biggest focus for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Really good stuff. Quick episode today. Just want to do a quick little recap. I appreciate everyone listening and bearing with us these last 2 weeks. More episodes coming. And that's a wrap, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you for listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the OZone Pod. And remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on all your favorite podcast listening platforms.